It's been sourced, marketed and developed in the UK for the UK market, so we're absolutely unique in that. You might wonder why they've asked the company vet to actually release the product, but there's two parts of that story. First of all, of course, there's no reason why the animals can't take the benefits from it exactly the same as us. But also, as a family who's behind this product, we've been farming on the Mendip Hills down in Somerset for 6 generations. And as you know, it's got much more difficult to make an income out of your farms over the years, and we had to diversify. And quite a few years ago now, we looked at the farm to see what else we could use. And we soon realized that on this farm, we never had mains water. We always used the springs. They're Saxon springs, very old springs, where we extracted the water. And so we actually started to produce it. And that's what's given rise now to Forever's Cheddar Natural Spring Water. Very fortunate, this water has a lovely ore here that the whole of the but what's really important and what is unusual about this water is that the catchment area is designated as organic by the Soil Association. So you'll notice on the bottom of the bottle on the label that it states on there that this is sourced from and filtered through organic land. As far as we know, it's the only water in England which has this organic certification. So it's a really big plus when it comes to promoting this water. The history on the farm was also interesting, and it's a nice story to relate, because on our farm, it's a 300-acre farm, we've actually got Neolithic flint works. They found pottery from the Bronze Age. We've got over 100 little round houses from the Roman period, and there's a complete Saxon village, and you can see them excavating it here. That's important because this is exactly where the springs rise. There's the highest springs on the Mendips. They rise at around 500 feet above sea level, so they're very high springs. So there's a nice lot of history behind this water. But also, as you know, Cheddar is famous for lots of things. Cheddar actually comes from an Anglo-Saxon word, would you believe it, meaning brilliant water. That's what Cheddar means, because they've always extracted water from the caves which are underneath the Mendip Hills. It actually has the largest gorge in the UK, and of course it's the original origin of the recipe for cheddar cheese, which is now worldwide, of course. People will say to you, does it taste of cheese? And of course it doesn't taste of cheese at all, but people often think that. It has the largest underground water source, the most extensive cave system in the UK, and just of interest, they actually found the oldest human skeleton in the country down in Cheddar. So it's got a nice history behind it. This is showing really what happens to the water. It falls on our land, comes down through the soil, it's filtered through some lovely red sandstone, which is a perfect filter, and then it comes down through the aquifers in the limestone into this huge cave system under the Mendips, and that's directly where we extract it from. And you can see some lovely stalactites and stalagmites here on this picture. Also, what's important to you is the purity of the water. It is absolutely crystal clear. Those of you who've looked at it, it's very, very clear. It's a neutral pH. It's full of minerals, and it's totally odorless. And it has a very crisp, natural taste with a clean finish. That's quite important because a lot of waters out in the marketplace, if you try some of them, I won't name them, but some of them have a little bit of an aftertaste of sulfur because they come from volcanic rocks. Others have got a very peaty taste at the end. But ours is a very, very clean finish to it. It's obviously sourced deep in the cave, so it comes out at the same temperature all the time, about 15 degrees centigrade. Analysis of the water, that's important for you as well. And there's a lot of misconception about waters. You'll hear people talk of hard and soft waters. When they're talking about hard and soft waters, what they're actually referring to is what it does in your house, and does it lather up well with soap. If you have a hard water, obviously your kettle can get a deposit on it, and also in your central heating. But when it comes to drinking a water, you want a water which has a lot of mineral in colloidal solution, so you absorb it rapidly. And this water is very high in minerals, as you can see here. Water is often the forgotten nutrient. It's very important to us. It's the most potent natural detoxifier. We're always talking about taking vitamins A, C, and E to detoxify us. Water actually is the most potent detoxifier on this planet, and we need to be regularly drinking the water. Our bodies are made up of over 66% water. We lose 2.5 litres of water a day, and it's recommended that we drink 2 litres. Because of its high mineral content of over 403 milligrams per litre, if you were to drink the 2 litres as recommended, you would get about 1/3 of your daily requirement of minerals such as calcium. So it's a great source of calcium for your bones. In fact, on the Mendips, if we go to our dentists or our doctors, we're famous in Somerset because they say we have Mendip teeth and Mendip bones. Because anybody living on the Mendips who drinks this water like we have done for generations, your teeth are really strong and your bones are very, very strong because of this very high mineral content. Interestingly, as well, the water comes out at a pH of 7.4, which is the same pH as your blood. So it's a fantastic product to be drinking to detoxify you and clean you out. I'm not going to knock tap water at all. A lot of people drink tap water. It meets all the European legislation. It's a perfectly acceptable product to drink. But I think you need to be a little bit aware of the people who say, oh, I don't drink bottled water because tap water is exactly the same as bottled water. It is not. It is a totally different product. I've always believed on consuming products which are as near to what nature produced as possible. So, of course, I take our aloe vera gel. I take all of our bee products, the pollen, the propolis, royal jelly, honey, because they were as nature produced them. And it's exactly the same with this water. Because it's not sent through masses of pipes for miles and miles from the reservoirs to our houses, we do not have to disinfect it. Tap water is disinfected with chlorine. Also, they have to add aluminium salts to it, because you can imagine, because it's stored in huge reservoirs, it gets organic material in it. And that organic material reacts with the chlorine to produce chloroform. Chloroform is not good for us to keep taking it on a regular basis. They also add other elements like fluoride to it, great for the children, for their teeth, but obviously over a period of time as we get older, we don't really need fluoride, and it is the most poisonous element found on this planet. So you make your own decisions about tap water and bottled water. Bottled water is exactly as it came out of the ground. It has to be. There is very, very strict mineral regulations of how it's extracted and what we can do to it. We cannot call it a mineral water or spring water unless it hasn't been adulterated in any way at all. So it's exactly as it comes out of the ground. The UK bottled water market is huge. It's the fastest growing category in the soft drinks marketplace. It's worth over £1 billion a year, and there are around 25 million adults who drink over 2 billion litres of water every year. It's interesting that 53% of the UK adults drink water, and of those, the highest proportion, 56%, is women and only 44% men. And as usual, the ladies are looking after their health and nutrition better than the men, aren't they? Which is typical. 64% of the consumers are in the 25 to 35 age, and that's a marketplace that we should be aiming at. And to those age groups, the bottled water and carrying a bottle of water around with them is like an essential accessory, like their mobile phones. The future growth, it is growing at about 12% a year. So there's plenty of growth going on. The health nutrition marketplace, it fits very, very nicely. And with that, you can live for quite a long time without eating food, but you can't live long without drinking fluids, and particularly water. It's the second most popular soft drink, and water consumption for children is seen particularly as a growth area. A lot of parents now are trying to decrease the amount of fizzy drinks and sugary drinks their children are taking. We actually already supply lots of schools in the UK with our water because they're promoting that through the schools. So it's a big area to look at when it comes to promotion of the water. How does it fit in with Forever? Basically, they come in packs of 12. Often, you'll notice, water comes in packs of 24. That's very heavy. So we've actually done it in packs of 12 for you.